Okay, so today I've decided I'm going to correct myself on some of the things that I had said originally about the Switch 2 when it first was revealed, about the price and everything. Okay, so let's start with this comment. Theolo Plays Gaming replied, "Stop spreading false information. Nintendo canceled the Switch 2 pre-orders in China." In fact, you are correct. They actually stopped production overall in China because the thing was that the tariffs were so high in China, it was going to make it astronomically high, so they just canceled it overall in China and just moved all the production over to other countries. So that's why it took them a bit of time for the pre-orders in America, because as you know, China, when shipping to other countries, it wasn't affected, but when shipping to America, it was affected ultimately. This is why that information is definitely important, because they did switch production because, you know, the tariff would have been 245%. The United States and China are kind of battling it out right now with the tariffs. So they have ultimately canceled a lot of production for the Switch 2 in China. Now, the other thing I should mention too is that even though I'm saying I'm trying to justify the game prices right now, I still think that they are a crazy amount and are actually unaffordable. I'm not very happy about game prices. I don't think anybody is, to be for that matter. And like the real question is like, will game prices go down in the future? I know that they have like a 50-50 chance of going down just because of the economy right now with tariffs, but I still think paying $80 for a game, right, is a bit crazy. And I think that's where most of the people who are getting upset from are coming around this, right? Because yeah, it's expensive, and for a matter of fact, it's actually unaffordable. But unfortunately, the state of how the console market is looking more and more to be like unaffordable. And that personally hits a spot where it's like, I have a PC, but I love my consoles, right? They're just unique in their own ways. They're fun, they're quirky, right? With the PC, it's kind of just like this black boxy tower. The console just has that uniqueness to it. That's just different, right? And Nintendo's been doing that for years. Like, don't kid yourself with the Wii. Like, the Wii's pretty unique, right? And so is the Switch, right? Like, going from the Wii to the Switch, right? Like, crazy, but they're still both fun consoles that have their own uniqueness and, like, are still usable and fun today, right? So it hurts to see these prices be astronomically high, and I hope they do go down. But for now, it's looking like they're just going to go up or stay at this price because of the state that the world is in with the trade economy. And I should mention too, a lot of these companies are having to move production out of China entirely because they've banned rare materials, okay? And the States is putting a huge tariff on China, and they're in like a tariff trade-off, right? So ultimately, these companies are going, well, what's the next step to pivot so we can still get production, still make a profit, and still be successful? And unfortunately, that is raising the price, right? If they don't raise the price, they lose a huge amount of profit, even though these companies are massive, right? And they could probably, in some stance, afford to take a hit. They don't want to risk it. It's a risk, right, for the company. And these companies want to stay stable and do not want to risk losing a bunch of money. And then they have to actually lay off employees at that point. It ends up affecting multiple other things that go into the company, right? So getting back to this whole point about game pricing, right? Like, I do think it's justifiable to a stance, but like I said, it's still crazy expensive. And like, I'm not justifying it because I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but more of the fact that what else are you gonna do? Like, I doubt that Steam games, right, are gonna go up in price. Like, I doubt that's gonna fall because they're all digital, right? So I don't think on Steam, digital games are gonna take that hit, but any games that belong to consoles are going to take that hit because the games are what pay for the console, right? You pay for the console and it's at a loss, right? So the games are ultimately what pay for part of your console and would pay the company that loss, which they already are at a loss, but they still have to make profit somehow, and the games are part of it. You're usually susceptible to buying a game when you buy your console, or buying a controller when you buy your console, or buying both, right? But to see prices so high, I don't think people are gonna start doing that anymore. I think people are just gonna buy the console, right? Or not even buy a console and go full PC because PC will have the cheaper game library. Anyways, I just thought I'd update my opinion on all this because it is crazy, and I get where people's anger is coming from in all this, especially with the prices. Like, it's just like I said, it's unaffordable to a big extent. So anyways, and if you guys could just like and subscribe, that would just make my day. Thank you so much. And we'll have more stories to share and everything. So talk later. Peace.